Idiot, man. Ah, an idiot, man. Aye, Diana, messed up, man. When I started that tour, right, at 2 o'clock, I started it in bloody portrait. So I thought I'll just finish it, because it wouldn't let me switch round. But what I didn't realise was it wipes the bloody tour. It's gone. So this is, can you put in a new link to any of the groups, because I messed up. I don't think this is a correct link. It's quite a nice day here, but anyway. Yeah, I messed it up because it, no, that's the block in front of my house. How's it going? Yeah, I messed up. I started the link in portrait and it wouldn't let me switch to landscape, so I thought I'll just end the tour and restart it. And it just wiped the tour away, so I had to just start another tour. So my house is behind that one. So there's 2 blocks. So this is just to show you where I am. How's everyone doing? Ronnie, Barbie, Kerry, Diane, Carol Sue, Attic Lady. Yeah, I'm not going to have big numbers on this one, man. What an idiot I am, man. Ugh. A twat, man. Yes, church, man. Nice symmetrics on it, isn't it? I can't switch the phone round. Look, this is the North Leith Parish Church. You know the oldest church in Leith, the oldest building in Leith? The St Ninian's Parish. That was called, after the Protestants took it over in 1560, it became known as the North Leith Parish Church, as opposed to the South Leith Parish Church on the other side of the bridge. And this had to be built, it was too busy, so they had to build this as an overspill. So this is the North Leith Parish Church. It was built in 1816, believe it or not. It's over 200 years old. Quite nice, isn't it? Yeah, what an idiot I am, man. There's actually no point in doing this, man, because I'll not have anybody watching it. Oh, what an idiot, man. Oh, well, hey ho, such is life, eh? Once a twat, always a twat. Hey, Laugher J, Don, Sarah. Yeah, I messed up, everyone. Not like me, right enough. Can you see the detail? I don't know if you can see the cross in the window. Can you see the cross in the window below the clock? This is called Prince Regent Street, named after the Prince Regent, Leopold, I think it was. How's everyone doing today? Lovely day today. It's about 7 degrees Celsius, about 50 Fahrenheit, something like that. Quite nice. I started the tour in portrait mode instead of landscape, and it wouldn't let me switch. So I thought I'll just finish the link. I'll just finish the tour. I'll finish the tour and go back into it, but it wouldn't let me go back into it because it just wiped it away. The joys of life, you know. Hey, Michelle, Beth, how's it going? Yeah, I messed up, everyone. See the cross in the window. It's a lovely symmetrical church. It's built right in the centre of the street here. So it looks quite good, you know. My niece got christened in there. It's a Church of Scotland, Protestant church, of course. It's looking down here, see. So you can see the block of flats there. That's the opposite block from my flat, so you can see where we are. Yeah. So there's two blocks, Persevere and Citadel Court. Persevere is the Leith motto, and Citadel is named after the fort that was built by the war criminal Oliver Cromwell. He invaded Scotland in 1650, see? It's named after the Prince Regent Leopold. He actually came to Scotland before Queen Victoria, actually. Street down here is named after him as well, Coburg Street. Thanks, Artie. Yeah, so this is my old stomping ground here. So I just thought I was going to do like a wee sort of chat friendly tour, but then, you know, if you watch the tour back, it's not going to be much fun, is it? Because, Maran. Hey Maran, how you doing, everyone? This used to be a chip shop, by the way. See this building here? This used to be a chip shop for years when I was a kid. This was a fish and chip shop here. It's now a house. Same with this shop here. This building here. This used to be like a grocery store. Was Mark on another link? Was Mark Crosley? So that used to be a shop, and this used to be a chip shop. It's all gone. And this used to be a train station here. You can actually see, look at the ghost signage on the shop here. See it? McNeil's. See, it's quite nice they're doing this nowadays. They're scraping back all the paint to reveal the original paintwork. It's called ghost signage. So McNeil, I wonder what that person sold in there. Yeah, that used to be a train station. They're stopping there. Used to be train stations everywhere. Hi Rose, how's it going? Sorry about the confusion, I messed up. It's not liking me right enough. But yeah, I messed up. Started the tour in portrait mode instead of landscape, thinking I could just switch the phone round. Couldn't switch the phone round. So I thought I'll end the tour and rejoin. So I couldn't do that either. So yeah, this is where I grew up, in this area. This is called Portland Street here. This street here, it's called Portland. Look, this street's called Madeira Street. Look, Madeira, Portugal. Yep. We've got a street round the corner called Cadiz Street, after Spain, dealing with all the sherry and the port coming in. And this is called Portland. Okay, Portland Street. And the Leith Port is just down here. So I assumed for years it was named after the port, the land of the port. It's named after a Lord Portland. You see this house here with the hedge? I used to live here. When I was 16, I became homeless and put in prison, right? Then I was homeless again. And I got a bed sit. I got put in this hostel for young kids under 21 called Stopover. And they help you get accommodation, you know. So I got a bed sit in here. It was the first time I've been here for years. Yeah, there was a crazy American guy used to own it. My room was I had a room at the back in there. But the guy was so eccentric. He used to bulk buy things, the guy, you know. He would bulk buy things from the cash and carry, you know, like shaving foam, hair gel, stuff like that. But yeah, this is where I grew up. This is where I spent all my childhood, everyone. Well, I moved here. I moved up from England when I was 4 or 5. And then when I was about 7, I moved to here, just around the corner. And I had a bright blonde hair and an English accent. I moved up from Yorkshire. And I got sent to a school called the Fort. F-O-R-T. The Fort. Well, I had to very quickly turn my accent around to ingratiate. Very quickly. But if you look here, I didn't know why it was called the Fort. Our school, the original school, was inside the walls of the fort. We knew it used to be a fort, but we didn't know why it was a fort. They never told us anything about that. It's quite strange. Yeah, I've not been here for a while. Look at this. So look. Shut up, crow. John Paul Jones View. See? Hi, Mark, are you here? I can't even see him, but I'm assuming Mark's here. Look, it's called John Paul Jones View. Well, this is all completely changed. These are all brand new. These are like 7 years old, 6 years old. These houses are called colonies. See them with the staircases, I'll show them. But this is the city, this is the walls of the fort. See here, see the walls coming up? Hello, Cheryl, love. How's it going? I'm just saying this is where I grew up. When I moved up from Yorkshire, we lived halfway up Leith Walk, and then we moved down here when I was about 7. And our school was inside this fort. So you see the houses are quite cool, quite a nice idea. Look, they're called colonies. They've got staircases going up. So everyone gets outside space. Everyone's got a bit of a garden, with a little bit of outside space. So somebody lives in the bottom, somebody lives above them. Quite a good idea. But again, so John Paul Jones View, and you see here. Look, another name, give an indication of what it was. Look, Guardhouse Parade. So I came up just for a little walk. Well, I was actually hungry. I heard there was a little cafe up here. I heard there was a little cafe here. So I came up. I thought it was just a Scottish cafe, you know. And I'll just quickly show you. It's quite good actually. I had a wrap. Just diversing a little bit here. I just thought I would share what I had for my lunch. Aye, quite a nice little cafe. It's Greek actually. It's Greek. Bonjour. Well, I don't know how you spell it. Look, pronounce it B-O-N-G-O-U. Bonjour. Oh no, it's Nigerian. It's all Greek stuff inside, but I thought it was Greek. They've got a map of Greece inside. Oh well, that's what I had. This is what I had. Look here. There, £6.50 a flatbread sandwich with spice. You get the pepper chicken, right? Wrap, and then you choose what sauce: tomato, tatashi, and the rodo, the hot one. Of course, I went for the hot one. But yeah, it was lovely, man. I thought it was Greek. Well, it just shows you how much of an idiot I am. I'm here thinking it's Greek. I look, so you see. Fort again. North Fort. See? This is called Fort Street, North Fort Street. You see this building over here? The old Fort School was actually inside the walls over here. And that's when I went to for the first couple of years in primary school. And then we got sent over to the new school. So this is my school over here. I got badly bullied for being English. I got made to run the gauntlet a few times, where they would all run up, you know, there'd be like 20 people standing in a line, so 10 people on each side, and you had to run through them to get to the end, and you got kicked and punched all the way through until you got to the end. So if you fell down, whew, you know, you got beaten to within an inch of your life. So let's see, Portland Street, named after the Duke of Portland. And I thought it was something to do with the port of Leith, the land next to the port. No, I was completely and utterly wrong. Yeah, so this is the walled city of the fort. Yeah, look. We've not got much of it left now. There was more, but they've just built these colonies here. These new houses about 6-7 years ago. They built these houses. It's social housing. Social housing. 10,000 people applied. Oh no, sorry, five. Was it 5 or 10,000? I think it was 5,000 applied for the houses here. I was homeless when these houses were built. I was in temporary accommodation, bidding for houses. and I bid for a house and didn't get them. But look how nice they are. Man, what's wrong with the road? The road's dead. Cyclists on the pavement, man. I hate cyclists with a vengeance, man. I wish I had a car like James Bond with big rockets, rocket launchers, you know what I mean? Just blast them to death, man. But look, nice little houses, you see? You see the design of them, everyone gets a garden. So the people on the bottom get a garden. There's four, split into four, you see? So I think there's 4 houses in that block. And the ones up the top, you get a little wee balcony, but then you get a garden down here as well. Pretty cool, nice idea, like colonies. Yeah, so when I was living in temporary accommodation with my son, and I was bidding for houses, and I bidded for them, but I was nowhere near getting them. But yeah, this is my old school, my primary school. The old original fort school's gone, actually. Oh, you would park there in a double yellow line, pal. Blocking my postcard view, man. Has he gone away? Yes, this is my old school. That's the gym hall in there. Can you imagine this school? It was full of like people from the worst parts of Leith. And well, inside here. So look here. So this is part of the fort. This was This was the main entrance to the fort here. But I'm just going to. I put in a couple of photographs. I'm just trying to figure out how I put these photographs in. Media. Ah, look, here we go. Can you see that? I've put the picture in the chat. So you see the houses behind it. Can you see that picture in the chat, everyone? I just put a picture up in the chat. Yeah, you don't want to be living in the bottom bit of the noise above you. So they built these social housing in there in the 1960s. So it stayed a fort until the 1950s. There was a barracks here. Ah, right, okay. That's cool. So that's what the social housing looked like. It's called the fort. So in 17, I'll get to the story of John Paul Jones, right? But in 1779, I'll just quickly tell you to fill you in. In 1779, I'll expand on it further in details. But in 1779, during the Wars of Independence, John Paul Jones came to Edinburgh and tried to bomb us. Just down here, I'll show you in a little while. So down there is the sea, and that's where John Paul Jones sailed into in 1779. I'll tell you more about it in a little while. But after it, they realised that Edinburgh was undefended because they'd taken away all the guns from Scotland after the Battle of Culloden with the Jacobites. So, oh, big fight. Fight. Can I remove the photograph? Does it stay there the whole time? Will it not go away? Let's see. I'll try and put another one in. There we go. So see that? Can you see that picture? So that's what the blocks look like. Yeah, so they built the fort in 1779 onwards, right? But 1783, but the fort was useless. So it was an army barracks as well. So in the 1950s, they took away most of the buildings and built the horrible social housing. Okay, so if you see the horrible buildings there, right? That's one of my earliest memories is walking along there. See the horrible building? So that was inside here. So this was here, right? And when we first came up from England, we lived in my uncle's house in Balfour Street, again named after Lord Balfour, another English lord. All our streets are named after English people. But my uncle was selling the house, so we applied for social housing. So one of my early memories is walking along there. See where the building on the left? We got offered a house in there, which is just there actually. So that building there is just there, would have been there. And yeah, we got offered a house here, a council house, right? And I was thinking that, oh, I hope we don't get to stay here. And luckily we got to buy a house. My mum and dad bought a house for £1,300. But I ended up having to go to the Fort School because the house they bought was just around the corner. So I ended up having to go to the Fort School. So these are what's left of the fort, the barracks. I think I've got one more photograph. So there we go. There's the other side of the buildings. You see them? So in train spotting, alright, I'll remove the photographs. I'll just let you see this one photograph. I know, it's a shame it's all graffitied. So this is one side of the buildings there. So that's another view of the block from the other side, from behind that building. So these are the only bits that are left. These two buildings here. So they've kept these. Obviously there was army barracks here and all that. But you can see the fort wall. There we go. So there we go. I've taken the photographs away, okay? I've removed the photographs. So yeah, so once you put the photographs up, you have to remove them again. Okay. That's the first time I've added photographs. I didn't know if it was going to work actually, I just thought I would try it. Just to see, you know. So if you see here, the walls, the fort walls there as well. So that's the end of the fort. So it wasn't a very big fort. You know what I mean? It wasn't very big. I'll just see if I can get a better photograph. See now all the photographs are away. So this is no longer a school now, it's like an early years centre for young kids and parents and all that. You can have a birthday party there, so on. So this is it here, this is the entrance to the fort. So the original fort school was over here. It was just there, it got knocked down in, what would that mean? It probably got knocked down about 1980, that school. It was pretty rough, mind you. And everyone got moved over to the new school, but yeah. Going there with bright blonde hair and a Yorkshire accent. It wasn't the school I'd have chosen to go to, put it that way. You can see here they've put some cannons in, look. So we're right in the middle of the fort. They should actually have a map up, you know, like an information panel showing you. See the cannons. Hey buddy, how's it going? See the cannons? They're just decorative, of course. So this is a remnant of the old fort. And you can see here again in the names, the guardhouse parade again. So this is where the guardhouse was, obviously, the barracks. See it? Guardhouse parade. And again, links onto John Paul Jones' view. He's the guy who, the Scottish American who tried to bomb us. I'll tell you more about that in a little while. But look, John Paul Jones' view. And again there, cannon wind. That means alley. Wind is alley or lane. So again, it's just they've just given a nod to the past. Look, somebody's had their wheel clamped. Hey Lynn, like, no luck pal, should have paid your tax. I think there's the Northleaf Parish Church again. See, we've just walked in a little half circle. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here today. Beautiful day. So I'm just going to show you where the fort, so the walls are there. Okay, so the walls came up here. Along here. It's not that big a fort, like. It was completely useless, to be honest, the fort that they built. But when they've built these new houses, see, look, great idea. See, everyone gets a garden. The garden's split up into 4 for each block, you know. It'd be good to have the whole 2 floors right enough, the 3 floors, like a townhouse. But that's like 2 houses, you know. So look, this is the edge of the city wall. So Britannia's just over there. The sea is just there. The sea is just there. So this is the walls here coming down. When they've built this part actually, because there was more of the fort up here, There's maybe still some of it you can go to. Because we used to play here when we were small, you see up there? There was a bit of the fort, they kept it. Because it was like, this is the edge of the fort walls here, going down.
Are you on YouTube?
Eh?
You on YouTube?
No pal, it's just live. Am I on YouTube? Imagine stopping somebody doing a live tour. Are you on YouTube? What's it got to do with you? Make sure you deliver your parcels, pal. So that's the fort there. There was bits we used to play up there, but I can't see. It says anti-vandal climbing pane. I was going to climb up it, but it's looked like they've stopped you for bloody going up on the wall. Strange. Oh well. So, and there's the other part of the fort walls here as well. So they date back to about 1780, 83. So it wasn't that big. What a beautiful day, but look at this weather. It's beautiful. I've got like too many clothes on today. I put a body warmer on underneath my jacket because it said on my phone it was only 6 degrees. I said 6 degrees, oh that's quite fresh, you know, so I thought I'll put my body warmer on. But it turns out I didn't need the body warmer. Now I'm beginning to get a little bit overheated. Yeah, this is what they do in Britain now. If you don't pay your tax, are the walls granite? They're just being inquisitive. Oh, the guy was just being a fanny. Yeah, they clamp your car now if you've not paid your car tax. Nah, it's just stone. It's not granite walls. It's just sandstone. So who was John Paul Jones? Well, anybody American will know who he was. Keep your clothes on. Oh, don't worry, man. As much as the old fort is gone, it's still quite rough around here. The cannons. I've done limbo dancing on a tour. It's probably the riskiest thing I've done. Limbo dancing live on a tour, that was quite good fun. In Princess Street Gardens, joining a live silent disco. See all the old barracks left. Paula. Hey, I get called Polly by my Australian friends. Hey, Polly. You know, the Australians are like, they put a Y onto everything, don't they? I bet the local ladies liked it when the soldiers moved in, eh? But the guys, I bet the local guys didn't like it so much. This is still the fort walls here. You see? Yeah, so when the soldiers moved in, I bet all the locals, the ladies would have been happy and the men would have been raging. Nice little tree house there, see? Arrested. Aye, when it's 13 degrees, I know. I was walking about Rome in February one year, 12 degrees, and I was walking about Rome with a t-shirt on. And all the Romans have got big fur coats on and all that. Do you know what, I haven't even seen these houses before. See these houses here? These are all new. Bizarre. I find these things just frustrating. See these, is it Julianne balconies or Juliet balconies? I just find them so annoying. So there's the edge of the fort there, see? More of the city fort walls. They could have kept more of it, but, well, it shows you how long I've not been here since, because this building wasn't even here. The last time I was here, this wasn't here. Yeah, I think having these little Juliet balconies, is it Juliet or Julianne? Because what's the point? You can open up your window and stand there, but it's not as if you can put a chair on it or anything like that. So this is the way I used to walk to school. After we left the fort, it was a primary school. So after we left the fort at 12, you went to high school, and that was called Trinity. And this is the way I used to walk to school here. My house was Portland Terrace I lived in. I used to walk here. So I'm walking the route that I used to go to school, and I've not walked this route since I've been at school. And this is where I used to get bullied here. I used to get thrown over a wall here. They used to pick me up and throw me over a wall on the way home from school. Let's see how high it is. Yeah, I got chucked over this wall several times. Kids were crazy in my young days, you know. Julienne is a... Aye, Julienne Carrots. There must be Juliet balconies I'm thinking of. So see this wall here? I used to get thrown over this wall. Chris, what's that? That's quite high. That's nearly 6 foot. So when we're walking home from school, right, we're walking back down this way, right, and the guys would wait on me, pick me up and just fling me over the wall. That's mad. That is mad. Am I wearing shorts? No. I wish I was wearing shorts. Yeah, because it looks low down on this side, but it's about 6 feet on the other side. That's nuts, man. It's funny, the memories this is bringing back. As I say, I've not walked this way. I've not walked this way since I left school. That's nuts. So if that's the poor area behind us, right? So traditionally that was the poor area behind us. In front of us is the middle class area. So this is called Trinity. Look at the houses here. This is called Trinity, or Dudley. Dudley. Going through into Trinity. So these are lovely little houses. These will be about £500,000 each. Hey Jolene! Dwarf tossing. They thought I could fly. Oh, what happened there? Aye, so these are probably about 500-600 grand a house here. Quite nice. Got a bit of garden at the back as well. I remember walking to school along here in the winter one day. And you know how old people say, oh yeah, I remember walking 12 miles through the snow in my shorts. Icicles hanging off my nose. Well, I did walk to school one day, and an icicle did form on my nose. Up a little, because my nose was running. And yeah, an icicle formed on my nose, and I had to flick it off. You know, by the time I got to school, I had to flick the icicle off my nose. And it was quite sore, flicking it off my nose. A one bed flat in Brighton. Ah, yeah. It depends where you are in Edinburgh. You know, depends. This is actually quite a middle class, you would call it. Or upper working, you know, if that's what you want to be. Yeah, so who was John Paul Jones? I might have to take my inhaler. Like the comments. Because I'm actually struggling in the heat. I'm might have to stop and take one of my jackets off. Can't believe how hot it is today. Let's see in a minute. Stick with me, by the way, I'm going to show you New Haven. There is a method to my madness. It'll all become clear. So we're now walking down this way towards the little town of New Haven. Oh, my school, by the way, is just over here. Just there. That's my school. Trinity Academy. Derives from fraternity. Any who've been on my leaf tour, you just saw Trinity House. The building next to the fact, I'll show you this. The building next to the South Leaf Parish. So this used to be a railway line here. See here. This was the railway line. Loads of railway lines. And the train station was just over there. Train station was up there. So I had a really good train services up until the 1960s here. So one second everyone, I'm just going to take one of my jackets off. It's too hot. Whoa, oh sorry everyone. How about that? Uh-oh. Ah! One second everyone. It's changed modes. One second. The bloody gimbal's now switched to a different mode from what was on before. I'm going to have to switch this gimbal off just for 1 second everyone, okay? Just bear with me for 1 second, I'm just going to have to switch it on and off. It's just it's went into a different mode. And I'm not sure what that mode. You can put it in different modes, you see. So, where's my arm gone? That's better, everyone. 1 second, I'm just going to turn this off. Excuse me, just look away for a second, everyone. That's it. Ah, yeah, I know. Someone feed Phil, they were at that. The fish food place. Seafood, fish food. Sounds like your fish food you'd put in a fish tank. Oh, I have to get in. Had to order a new iPad on Sunday, right? Ordered a new iPad on Sunday. And it was like £10 for next day delivery. And DPD had my parcel. Well, at 3:30 I got a message yesterday saying, your parcel will be here before 10 o'clock. So about 7 o'clock at night I started tracking it, you know. And it was like 6 stops away, 3 stops away. And then it got further away. Then by this time it's 10 o'clock. Next minute it says, oh, the driver has missed you. I'm like that, the driver never missed me. The driver never came. So after paying £10 for next day delivery, I never got my my tablet. So it's not come today yet. So allegedly at 3:30 today, I'll get another message telling me when it's getting delivered. So I'm not very happy. I paid £10 for nothing. For absolutely nothing. So, such is life, everyone. Such is life. So I'm just going down to the little the old ex-fishing village now of New Haven. Oh, I'll not get. Well, I emailed the company this morning, and I says, look, I paid £10 for next day delivery. I said, it's the next again day, and it did not come. Of course, I never got a response, you know. You know what it's like. They only contact you when you want payment. Aye, so John Paul Jones eventually. So he was a Scot born in Kirkcudbright, which is a town on the southwest, like away past where Robert Burns was born. Kirkcudbright of Scotland. I think he was born in 1747, and he became a sailor at 13-year-old, actually. John Paul Jones, 13-year-old, he became a sailor. And he was Scottish, of course, and at quite a young age he was put in charge of a ship because he was like the second mate on a ship, and the captain died, and he took over the ship, and the sailors were unhappy, you know, but he managed to get the ship and the cargo back to shore safely, so the authorities were so pleased, they gave him 10% of the cargo and promoted him. So at a fairly young age, he had started being in charge of a ship. And seemingly was a bit of a character. He was a bit of a cad, shall we say. He did start working on slave ships as well. Had a bit of a checkered career, working on slave ships. Obviously this was at a time when, in the late 1700s, that Britain had colonised 25% of the world. And yeah, and then he shot somebody. Then he shot somebody. Just trying to figure out. And had another couple of dodgy incidents as well. This is in New Haven Main Street. I'm just looking for the. So you see here, this is the old fishing village. Was that a real cat above? Sorry, I never seen that there. Don, sorry, I never seen that. What was it? It was a bit of a pirate, John Paul Jones as well. A real cat above the door. Sorry, I never seen that. I can't see it, Don, sorry. The corner door. Oh, I missed it. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out. I've not been here. I've done a tour here. No, it's not here. I've done a tour here about a year ago. See the name of the street up there? A hint, look. You can't see it, but up there. Whale, the name of the street is New Haven Road, but above it there's a sign saying Whale, W-H-A-L-E, Whale Brae. Now a brae is a hill, okay, Whale Brae, so gives you an indication of what the industry was. Scotland was a whaling nation. The fisher ladies of New Haven were notorious. But I'll just take you along the main street here. This was built as an overspill from Leith in the 1500s. King James the third. Look, in fact, look, I was just about to tell you that. He built a ship. They were going to build a ship, right? Oh, it was way back, sorry, Don. So look, the Great Michael Close, because King James was wanting to build a ship, right? Now Leith was the main shipbuilding area in this part of Scotland, but the harbour was too shallow. The harbour was too shallow to build this ship, so he built a whole new harbour here in New Haven. Right, so Leith's just 10 minutes away. And they built the biggest ship in the world, called the Great Michael. They used almost every tree in Scotland. Scotland's still suffering today because of it. All the Fifers still complain that they took their trees. Look, see the little pan-tile houses, roofs, with outside staircase. So you've got a particular style. On the other side, there's social housing. These are not that old. These are like 1960s, these ones here, but the ones on this side are slightly older. So yeah, this was built. We'll go down to the harbour in a little while. So this was built. This, in fact, here it is here. So see here, we're in Fish Market Square. Look. So this was the centre. So this was the original harbour here. But you can see the sea is actually over there. The harbour's there. But it used to be over here. It used to be here. So it just shows you how far they've reclaimed the sea. You know what I mean? So you get the harbour inn, harbour lounge, fish salesman, Fish Market Square, and so on. So you can see the nod to the past. Still get mackerel coming in here actually. Still got a lot of mackerel coming in. Ah, this is what I was looking for here. Somebody there. Nice little community garden thing here, see? I don't know if it's got a picture of the Great Michael. You can just see a little bit of it there. See that bit there? That's a copy of the Great Michael. The biggest ship in the world. King James IV. So 1504. It was King James IV started building it. Oh, there's a New Haven fish ladies there, look. The bow tows. You imagine the life they had. Mackerel, herring as well. Oysters. Mary Queen of Scots spent a night here as well. Mary Queen of Scots spent a night everywhere in Scotland. Look. Mary Queen of Scots spent a night in New Haven after escaping from Loch Leven. 1544. Hertford lands in New Haven, sacks at Edinburgh and Leith during the Rough Wound period. So in 1511 the Great Michael ship was launched. Then in 1513 King James IV died at the Battle of Flodden. The Scots were too poor to maintain it. It was too big. They had to sell it to the French, and the French just let it go to rack and ruin. And of course it wasn't the biggest ship in the world for very long, because the English had to build a bigger ship, and they called it the Great Henry after Henry VIII, of course. Now look at this. A nice wee nod to the fisher ladies. Look at them carrying the baskets. Imagine, yeah, because the men had a hard job. Don't get me wrong, the men had a hard job catching the fish, but the ladies had an equally as hard job. They had to go and collect the fish from the boats, carry it back ashore, gut it, clean it, and then take it to market to sell. And fair enough, from New Haven to Edinburgh isn't that far, but there was ladies coming all the way from Musselburgh and things like that as well, so you can just imagine the life they had. The ladies had just as hard a life as the men, that's for sure. So look here, it's an old burial ground, look. There used to be a chapel here, St James's Chapel, built by James IV. 485 recorded burials took place between 1505 and 1848. Look at that, you wouldn't think it. Oh, look. I didn't know I've got multi-talented, look. Look at this. Join Paul, the horticultural expert. It's not me, of course. But you wouldn't think that was a burial place, would you? Look, there's no indication that there's any graves here at all. Pretty strange, isn't it? So yeah, the biggest ship in the world was Scottish for a little while. So again, the little houses with the staircases going up. Yeah, it's quite again, the houses here, they're quite high. The lovely little school there, Victoria School, Victoria Primary, named after Queen Victoria, of course. Oh. Oh, Bonnie Mary, as you know, in England as well, she was kept in every castle in England. Bonnie Prince Charlie spent a night in every room in Scotland and every place in England. You got all these buildings and houses and all that claiming that, yeah, Queen Mary stayed here or Bonnie Prince Charlie stayed here and all this and all that. Whether or not it's true, I have my doubts. So we're just going to go down to the harbour. I'm just showing you along the main street here. So yeah, it's quite a well-to-do area here. It's because it's got the links to the schools, you know, Trinity. It used to be a fee. Believe it or not, my school, Trinity, my high school, which I only went to for 2 years, it used to be a fee-paying school. It was a fee-paying school. Obviously not when I was there. But yeah, so you can see I went out when I started the tour in the rough area, the rough part of Leith. Then we moved into Dudley and Trinity. So there's a mixture of poor kids and rich kids, you see, at the school. I mean, I got bullied all the way through school, but some of the posh kids got bullied even worse. This is a nice little cafe bistro here, see? Porty and Fee. Used to be a post office. Ah yeah, Channel's the second of every three. So here we are on the 1st of 4th. So this is where John Paul Jones sailed into here, you see? You see here? So here we are. I'm just going to go back over now without getting killed. The traffic's quite quiet today. Maybe just that time. What time is it? 3 o'clock. So maybe just before the school run and all that, you know. So here we go, the 1st of 4th. See it? So the Forth bridges are over there. Forth bridges are way over there. That's a place called Granton. In fact, that's where Queen Victoria, you know how they've got a statue of Queen Victoria in Leith? She came to Leith in 1842. Well, she came on a big, huge steamship, and it was too big to land in either Newhaven or Leith. So Queen Victoria had to actually land along here. That harbour, that's called Granton Harbour, Granton, Granton. So Queen Victoria, when she came to Edinburgh, her ship had to land there because she was on a huge big steamship. So this is the 1st of 4th. So this is the Newhaven Harbour that was built. It started in 1504 and to build the Great Michael essentially. There's a shipbuilding harbour. So Leith's got a 600-year shipbuilding history and Newhaven's got a 500-year shipbuilding history. Pretty cool. I think the sea's quite calm today. Beautiful day actually. Yeah, in fact, before the demise of Hago, myself and Ian Braidby were going to do a tour about Charles II, well, the Civil War. You know, well, the War of Three Kingdoms, you know. There we go. Look at this. To the west of Leith, Newhaven had a traditional harbour and fish market. Around 1835, an average of 20 million oysters per year were exported from Newhaven alone, and 1.7 million sold for consumption in Edinburgh. Of course, back in these times, oysters were only eaten by the poor people. So in the last, you know, it's only not recent, like in the last couple of years, but traditionally they were eaten by the poor, and now it tends to be quite maybe a middle class type of thing having oysters, but they're actually really cheap oysters. You can get them for £1. They're not exactly dear. I thought that was an oyster catcher, no, it's not a ringed plover. They do get oyster catchers. So here we go. In fact, that's what I was going to show you where Charles Darwin used to live in. Charles Darwin came to Edinburgh in 1825 to study medicine. And he came to Newhaven actually here. Many important fish fossils have been discovered here, some over 400 million years old. Darwin would sail out into the Firth to collect marine specimens to study. So even Charles Darwin came to Edinburgh because the university was so good. You know what I mean? So between 1572 and 1890 it was a major centre for oyster catching. oyster fishing. By the mid-1800s, 100 boats supported over 400 families. Wow, pretty cool, eh? And there's the old fish market here, lots of different restaurants here. Yeah. So there's a Premier Inn hotel, Brewers Fayre, and little restaurant. Used to be a Loch Fyne here, but I think the Loch Fyne's gone now. I think Loch Fyne closed down. So you can see all the little boats, the tide's in. So you still get mackerel at different times of the year here. When the tide comes in, obviously. We've got the fishermen out on the breakwater, and they, yeah, you'll catch plenty of mackerel, likes. Nice little boats. You see, you still go out for lobsters, crabs, you see, the quails. So you'll still go out and to catch lobsters and crabs. Razor clams as well, they'll go for them. Prawns, you get prawns out there. Further out to the east, you'll get prawns certain times of the year as well. Quite a nice little place, but isn't it? Quite nice here. Used to come down here when we were kids. Some people would jump in the water from the lighthouse. Not me. I was too scared. Yeah, I was too scared to do that. I'm not a fan of water because I nearly drowned a few times when I was small. So yeah, I'm not too keen in the water. So you've got the old harbour inn. Yeah. Yeah, we went out to the lighthouse before. Yeah, I'd done a tour here years ago. Well, about a year ago, I think, see the harbour inn. Yeah, it's quite a nice local pub that. It regularly wins awards. Got a small pub, you know, a local pub. Then the old church here has been converted into a rock climbing area. Alien Rock it's called. See the church? It's actually a rock climbing centre. It's got loads of different routes, as you can imagine. It'd be quite good having a spire, isn't it? The Harbour Bistro over there as well. This seems to be closed right enough. Welsh fishmongers, they've been going for a long time, Welshies. Yeah, the tram tour, the tram's just finished along here. So the end of the tram line is just there. Excuse the finger. The end of the tram line is just there. So it looks like Loch Fyne's closed down. Let's see. I did hear that. I got taken here by a client a couple of years ago on a private job for lunch. The best job, tour guiding job I ever had. I got paid £300, a 50 quid tip, and taken for lobster and oyster for lunch, and only worked for like less than 3 hours. And it was cash in hand. That was a good job for these Indian millionaires. This wanted to go for lunch. Roundleaf Market and up to Edinburgh Castle. I had a driver, a chauffeur. Best job I ever had. £300 oysters and lobsters, and I was finished before 2 o'clock and only started at like 11. Well, there's a Mexican place here now. El Castillo. Tacos, $6.75. Soft wheat ones. What about the hard ones? Nachos, corn. Oh well, it's just your typical Mexican enchiladas, burritos, nachos, tacos, quesadillas. So Welsh fishmongers. Famous. He's been in Leith at least since the 1950s, Welshies. One of them was in my class at school, actually, one of the Welshies. They own different fishmongers, nice fishmongers, see? Get the fish on display. Cool. So if you want to buy fresh fish, they supply all the restaurants and stuff as well, Welshies. And here it is here, the fish market. I've never actually been here. This has got a very good reputation here. See the fish place, fish and chip shop, the fish market. This has got a very good reputation. So it's £10 for a supper, for a fish supper, haddock. £8 for just for a haddock, £10 for fish and chips, or £12 for a large haddock and chips. So yeah, it has got a good reputation, but I've never actually been to it. The fish market. The fish market. Yeah, so if you do come to Edinburgh, there's much more to see than the city centre, you know. Oh, look at the little thingy, what you got, seahorse. Yeah, you have to come away from Edinburgh. In fact, I'll do a tour next week of Cramond. Oh, how do I get back down here? I need to get down the steps here. Yeah, you've got Leith, New Haven, Cramond. Even Dean Village is a little bit away from the centre, I suppose. Although it's just off the city centre. As you know, if you've been on any tours, it can get quite busy with Instagrammers. And you don't want to get me started on about the Instagrammers. I'll just start moaning. The Cramond is nice, like. £6.60 for a half. Oof, gee whiz. Nice skies, isn't it? A little bit of blue. You know. You see the plane coming in the back, flight path. See when you come into Edinburgh, the planes are forced out into the Firth of Forth. So when they're at the lowest, they're over the sea, so people don't get disturbed. And then they come in over Edinburgh, right over Joanne Rowland's house actually. See that plane? That'll be over. So that's going over Cramond. That's Cramond over there. Yeah, and the flight path is right above J.K. Rowland's house. But she'll have quadruple glazing, you know. It's called the White House, and I would imagine the security will be quite tight as well, because she does cause some controversy now and again. There's Joanne Rowland standing up and defending ladies' rights. Oh, don't tell me even the Instagrammers have come down here now. Look at this couple here. Bloody Instagrammers. Gee whiz. Look at this. I think it's been, I don't know if it's been vandalised or if that's what it's supposed to be like. You can smell the salt or the seaweed or something, you know. So there you go, Brewers Fayre. You used to get good fish and chips in there actually. You used to get good fish and chips in the Brewers Fayre. I'm not sure if you still do. But you used to get good fish and chips in there. You used to get a good deal actually. It was like 2 meals for whatever it was. I can't even remember what it was like, but you know. Quite nice skies, but isn't it? Oh, look at the bloody padlocks on the fences. These young lovers get everywhere, don't they? So, I think I remember this last time. So this is where the little boats come in as well. The little tenders for the cruise ships. So if the cruise liners are too big, they send in the little the tenders along here. Most of them go to South Queensferry over there. So that's South Queensferry, where the bridge is, where the Forth Bridge is, that's South Queensferry. In fact, I start work on the cruises quite soon. I think this month actually, is it? I think this month the cruises start. So I've got some work coming up with the cruise liners. So that's good. I'm not looking forward to doing the cruises, to be honest. It's a bit of a pain in the butt. You know, because you've got to get everyone on your coach. And it's like you get herded about like cattle, you know. I'm getting hungry now. Yeah, a lighthouse there. See, look, they've started putting bloody... See, there's bloody Instagrammers, look. All the padlocks on the fence. That's not a very romantic one, eh? Look. I thought they were like supposed to get your name etched on them. That's like a security one. What's the point in that? Like, just rusted padlocks, man. What's the point? Well, at least they've got names written on them. Look, can't just make out what it says right enough, but yeah, I thought that was the point of it, was get your names on them. Not just put on a random. Oh, look, what's this? We can see this one. Robbie and Wendy. I can't see it. Robin and Wendy, 1981 to 2019. I love you always, Robbie. Kiss, kiss. And there's a nicer one, look. See, that's what you should do if you're going to do it. Get it done professionally. Don't just buy a random old skanking security padlock. Keep your name on it. Look, Paul and Maureen. It's not me, by the way. Paul and Maureen, 29th of February 2020. I wonder if they're still together. Look, some of them. What's this say? Love you and always forever, somebody. Mum and Granny. Look, Mum and Granny. Oh, here's one. Ruby. This is for a dog. Ruby. 2010 to 2023. Our bull terrier, Ruby. That's had a no bad life, 13. So there you go, look at that. I just don't think it's very nice having these padlocks, to be fair, you know. They just rust away. And half of them are probably dumped each other now as well. Half of them probably aren't even going out anymore, you know what I mean? But every so often, what was the bridge? Where was the bridge about again? Was it Amsterdam or something like that? They put so many on them that it was affecting the bridge. The bridge was going to collapse. Can anyone remember? Was that Amsterdam? Or more likely Paris, maybe, no? I can't remember, but anyway. So there you go, everyone. Oh, in fact, I never told you about John Paul Jones, did I? Aye, sorry. So this is where John Paul Jones came into Edinburgh in 1779. The previous year he had invaded England, John Paul Jones. It was during the Wars of Independence. Despite being a Scot, he got himself into a bit of trouble. It's believed he murdered at least a couple of people, and he had to flee to America. And this was obviously during the Wars of Independence. He decided to take sides with America. And he was now like 23 or something like that. Maybe 25. And yeah, they decided to invade England, didn't they? They declared independence and declared war on Britain. So in 1778, John Paul Jones had sailed into Whitehaven in England and invaded England, and that all went kind of wrong because his men, it was always quite a difficult job controlling your men back in these times, and the men were sent on shore to like raid the place, and they ended up getting drunk in a pub and so on. So mutiny was always a problem, and this subordination, what's it called? Oh God, I just forgot the word. Insubordination, is that the word? Insubordination. Yeah, so it was always a difficult job to keep control of your men. All the keys chucked in the water. They better not have chucked the keys in the water. That'll just give me something to moan about. So in 1779, he decided to attack Edinburgh, despite the fact he was a Scot himself. Some people think it was a diversion tactic, because they had the plan was, they reckon, was to sail into the Firth of Forth here, into Edinburgh here, and attack Edinburgh. And that would be a diversion tactic. Okay, so his plan was bomb Edinburgh, attack Edinburgh, and that would force the English Navy to come and defend Edinburgh, leaving London undefended. And then once the London Navy left London, the Americans were hiding round the corner in France, and they were ready to launch a surprise attack on London. Insubordination, that was a word, thank you. I couldn't remember it. And yeah, so he decided to bomb Edinburgh, despite being a Scot. So between 3 and 5 ships, there seems to be a bit of a debate about how many ships there were. Between 3 to 5 ships sailed in here from this direction, from England, Firth of Forth. He actually came around the top of Scotland, actually. He'd actually sailed round from the southwest of Scotland, past where he used to live, on the Irish side of Scotland. And he launched an attack to he tried to kidnap the Earl of, was it the Earl of Selkirk? The Earl of somebody, I can't remember, Earl of Selkirk. Yeah, he tried, I can hear oyster catchers. He tried to kidnap him, to hold him for a ransom. But he wasn't there, so they just stole some silver anyway, which John Paul Jones felt guilty about after the war. And John Paul Jones actually bought the silver out of his own money and gave it back. He did one good thing in his life, John Paul Jones. And yeah, but see over here, there's a place called Kirkcaldy. This is where Trish Edwards lives, over here somewhere. And there was a minister on the other side of the river, the water. He saw the ships, American ships, sailing to the Firth of Forth here. So he was like that. He was a bit concerned they were going to attack Kirkcaldy as well as Edinburgh. Oh, can you hear the oyster catcher? There they are. There's the oyster catchers down there. Can you hear them? See if we can zoom in. Ah, can you see the oyster catchers? If I go too close, they'll bloody fly away. We're coming to that season, is it? Is it nesting season? Looking for a partner just? Well, I'm not sure. But yeah, Minister in Kirkcaldy, he saw the ships sailing in, and he gathered as many of his parishioners as possible, and they all went down to the beach over here, and they prayed to God for a storm to come. And no sooner had they finished the prayer than what happened? A big massive storm came into the Firth of Forth, and they blew John Paul Jones's ship away. His plot was foiled by a storm brought on by God himself. So, it is believed, right? Because I was speaking to a tour guide in Edinburgh Castle, because American prisoners were kept there, of course, during the Wars of Independence. And the girl said to me, the tour guide in the castle said that some of the American prisoners who were kept there, they were part of John Paul Jones's crew, right? And seemingly they attacked Edinburgh through the West Gate. You know how Edinburgh was a walled city? Well, the walls had started to come down in 1779, obviously, from 1767 onwards. But there was still, obviously, a lot more of the walls left standing then than there is now. So, allegedly, some of John Paul Jones's men got ashore somewhere, and they tried to attack Edinburgh Castle. Because John Paul Jones had previously been to Edinburgh, you see, and he kind of knew the layout of the city walls. So, seemingly, some of them were caught in Edinburgh and kept in the jail in Edinburgh Castle beside the French, the Spanish, Dutch, Irish prisoners were kept there, Scottish prisoners after the Jacobites and all that. And yeah, so John Paul Jones's plot was foiled. America, of course, did get their independence from Britain. And then, again, after the war, John Paul Jones, he still had a bit of a checkered, had a kind of mixed reputation, you know. He was obviously a very skillful sailor, but he was a bit of a dodgy character as well. And he was left out a ship, right? The Americans left him out a ship. So he started travelling around Europe. He went to Poland, France, and he ended up signing up for Russia. He became part of the Russian Navy as well. So he wasn't, you can see, he was fairly unscrupulous. You know, he'd been working on slave ships. He did say when he left the slave ships that it was a terrible industry. He wasn't impressed with it, but yeah, he just took their money before he said that, didn't he? And obviously he was a bit of a mercenary. You know, he'd fought for Scotland, Britain, America, and now he's went to Russia. But again, bit of a dodgy character. There is an event that took place. They don't know if it's true because of the records that were lost or maintained, or there's a bit of skullduggery going on as well. So they reckon he got charged in Russia with raping a 10-year-old girl. 10-year-old girl, can you imagine? He got caught, he got charged with raping a 10-year-old girl. Now, some people think the charges were just made up. You know, they were trumped up charges, so to speak. This is a way to get rid of him or to put him in prison, tarnish his reputation. And then John Paul Jones said, no, the girl is not 10, I never raped her. She was 12, and I had sex with her lots of times. She was a prostitute. And so again, he was put on trial for it, and he was given a pardon, actually. Catherine of Russia gave him a pardon. And he then moved to Paris. He actually died in Paris, actually, John Paul Jones. He died in Paris, but when they buried him, they put him in, they pickled his body and put him in a lead coffin to preserve it. So eventually the Americans decided to go and get him back. The British gave him a pardon for invading Whitehaven in England as well. So yeah, the Americans took him back. Eventually they found his body. He was friends with Benjamin Franklin, John Paul Jones as well. He had a good few connections, you know. And so yeah, his body was taken back to America. And as we know, it's now in, well, he's got a couple of statues and a tomb and all that. I think Washington and so on. So yeah, he was a bit of a colourful character, shall we say. As a lot of these people were back in these times, I suppose. But John Paul Jones, so he tried to bomb Edinburgh. And as you saw earlier on at the start of the tour, we've got streets named after him. When they built the new houses about 7 years ago, they decided to commemorate John Paul Jones in the name of the streets, which I find quite bizarre. I wonder if he'd actually managed to bomb us, would they have still named the streets after him? I don't know. But anyway, that's John Paul Jones. Bit of a colourful character, shall we say? Colourful character, shall we say? John Paul Jones. So I think I've got a tour on tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? I've got a tour on. I'm going through to Glasgow on, I've forgotten what day it is, to be fair. Tuesday today, isn't it? Wednesday. Thursday, I think I've got a tour in Glasgow. I'm going to do some training with Invisible Cities in Glasgow. We've tried to recruit. Glasgow's a very hard place to recruit guides for Invisible Cities. We've tried like 3 or 4 times to get tour guides in Glasgow. We did have one guy called Daniel for a while. He was good. A couple of years we had Daniel, and he decided to move away. And then we got a girl called Angie, but she speaks so much broad Glaswegian, nobody can understand her. So she can only do tours for local people. So we're doing another training session in Glasgow to try and attract more tour guides, or to try and take on some trainee tour guides in Glasgow. So they've asked me to do some training with them. So I'm going through on Thursday. So I thought I'll do a tour just before it. Glasgow Thursday, yeah. So hopefully I'll see some of you the rest of the week. I've actually been on quite a while, an hour and 20 minutes I've been on. Chat tour in Edinburgh tomorrow. An awesome, it's International Ladies' Day on Friday, isn't it? So I'll need to obviously talk about some Scottish ladies. There's so many to choose from. Mary Somerville, who the word scientist was created for. She's on the Scottish banknotes as well, Mary Somerville. So before she became a scientist, there was only men. She was the first female. And before she qualified, it was men were called men of science. So when Mary Somerville graduated, she could not be called a man of science because she was a lady. So they had to invent a new word. So the word scientist was created because of a Scottish lady who helped to discover Uranus. Not my anus, Uranus. So that's just one lady who I might be talking about on Friday. So I hope you've enjoyed the tour today. I hope you've understood me. I hope you've enjoyed just seeing a little different part of Leith and how nice it is in different parts of Edinburgh, New Haven, As I say, get yourself down. Sometimes in the summer the boat can leave here. You know the little boat goes under the bridges? Sometimes the boat leaves from here and it takes you out onto Inchcombe Island and underneath the bridges sometimes as well. And the cruise liners come in, so yeah, get yourself away from Edinburgh if you come down here. So have a lovely day, what's left of it, everyone. If you want to leave a tip, you can do so and buy me a coffee or PayPal, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already doing so. You can like the video, you can share screenshots if you have any. So there are different ways you can help us. So thank you very much, everyone. Have the best day. And I'm going to get some beer. See you later. Adios, amigas and amigos.